In this Circuits of the Past video, Herman will explore the haunted racetrack of the Reims Go by night, looking for ghosts.
Are abandoned racetracks haunted by ghosts of racing drivers from a bygone era? Let's go figure it out in this new Circuits of the Past series. Haunted racetracks.
Some people believe in ghosts, others don't. But sometimes we see strange things we can't explain. Or can we? In this night's exploration, we're looking for answers. The Reims Go circuit is an abandoned circuit within northern France. After 30 years of decay, the buildings are now being restored by the foundation Les Amis de Circuit de Go. However, some people claim they've seen ghosts on the abandoned site. When Herman visited the abandoned circuit in 2005, he took this photo inside the grandstand. As you can see, there are lots of orbs in this picture. Is it dust, or is it a strange phenomena? When he made the drone flight in 2018, he also saw some strange bright spots in the stands. Reason enough to do some nighttime exploration of this abandoned site, looking for paranormal activities, I think. Who needs X-Files when you have the Herman Files? At the end of the video, we're going to analyse everything we've seen and make a conclusion if we can get away with it. We start in the old pit building. This was used originally by Race Control. Later, Race Control and Timekeeping moved to a new building named Pavilion André Lambert. Since then, the pit building has been used as a restaurant. On the other side of the road, we see the old grandstands, which we'll explore later on. Don't you think they look a bit spooky? Here you see the podium where big names in motorsport have stood. This is also close to the site where Herman took pictures of the orbs. Are they winners re-celebrating once more? To make it look even more spooky, it started to rain during the night exploration. Here's a little more about the history of the haunted racetrack of Reims Go. The Reims Go circuit was operational from 1926 to 1972. It was a street circuit with a permanent pit and grandstand facility.
Impossible. How could I?
Reims Go hosted Formula One races and the 12 Hours of Go. When the Formula One abandoned the race circuit in 1966 after the French Grand Prix, the track became outdated and was only then used for national races. Immediately after its last race in 1972, they started to demolish the pit buildings. But a new mayor stopped the demolition. The remaining buildings were then left to nature to reclaim for the next few decades. There are already plans to restart the demolition and build houses on the site instead, but the Foundation, Les Amis de Circuit to Go managed to prevent that from happening. They got permission to restore the buildings and guarantee that nothing would be demolished again. In 2004, they started the restoration of the buildings to bring it back to its former glory. Not necessarily to race again, but as a monument for a bygone motorsport era. We're now at the counter where famous drivers stood in line to order a meal. Or maybe they're still here. Here you see a luminous orb, and from that moment on, all the images were out of focus whenever they were taken in this room. Below the pit building is this creepy basement. This was actually a place where they stored the champagne for the restaurants on both sides of the start-finish straight, and that's why they built this tunnel underneath the track. Today, this abandoned tunnel looks super creepy. And inside the basement, Herman filmed this face on the wall. We now go to the grandstands on either side of the track. Therefore, we need to go through the spooky tunnel. But because Herman used a camera with night vision, it looks a little bit lighter than what it actually was. When Herman walked through this, it was a pitch black hole for him. For those of you who don't know, the guy named Herman I referred to is Herman Nissemeyer, the founder of the website and YouTube channel Circuits of the Past. I'm Simon Smith, I voice the videos and run a YouTube channel too called High Plane Games if you're interested. Then Herman stepped on a lump of leaves. Was this a vampire attack? Herman and Reams go. Still a better love story than Twilight. So here we are on the other side of the track, on the rear side of the grandstands. Here we first take a look at the press grandstand. This was where a guy on Twitter claimed he experienced some paranormal activities. This little space here was probably where the press kits were distributed. And here's a look into the huge space underneath the press grandstand.
Impossible. How could I?
Because it's very dark here, Herman needed to use some extra light. So here's another view of the creepy space underneath the press grandstand. Now we go to climb the stairs where the Twitter guy says he saw the ghost. As you can see, the stairs are in very bad condition. And so at this point, Herman decided it was a bit too dangerous to continue. Or was he afraid of the ghosts? However, if you watch the footage back from the next day, you'll see Herman made a wise decision to turn back.
It's very dangerous.
If you look behind the strip, you'd fall right into the deep tunnel below here. Herman could well have been the new ghost in town if he had kept going. Now Herman walks through the dark night to the other grandstands. Look at the spooky tunnel in both grandstands. Here a fence blocked the way through to the grandstand for spectators. The next day, Herman got entrance to them by the Foundation Les Amis de Circuit to Go. So if you want to see what's inside, including the creepy space, I recommend you watch the video entitled Exploring Abandoned Race Track Reims Go Part 2. Now Herman has had to make the walk back through the creepy tunnel yet again, but to make it a little easier, he's using the flashlight from his smartphone. Was that the hand of a ghost who wanted to grab Herman? Or was it just a shadow from Herman's hand? Here you can see the bump of leaves that Herman found on the way there. So, a survivor once more, Herman escapes the spooky tunnel, and before we go to the abandoned section of the track, we'll have a look back at the backside of the pick boxes. And here's a view of the spooky grandstands from the pits. Now Herman drives to the abandoned section of the old track. A lot of drama happened here over the years, so maybe we'll encounter some ghosts. After a ride on the public road, we approach the abandoned section. This part is now only used by farmers to get access to their land. Immediately when Herman enters the abandoned section, we see a huge orb. As I said earlier, some dramatic events took place in this section. In 1956, the female Austrian-French driver Annie Bousquet died here at this corner. As a reminder, this bend is now named after her. At the same corner, French driver Daniel Belot died after a crash in 1966. The lights you see on the background are from the traffic from the N31 highway. Also at this section, in 1965, Gerard Langlois von Offen lost control of his Ferrari and crashed into a marshal's post. A marshal and a firefighter were hit by the car, and both passed away shortly after being taken by helicopter to the Reims hospital. An awful lot of drama and emotion took place at this short section alone. We're now entering the Hovet corner, the only left-hander from the 1953 to 1972 configuration of the Reims-Go circuit. In this corner is a cross. Unfortunately, there's no name on for this memorial, so we don't know who it's for, but it looks very old. So Herman made a stop here. If there's one place in Reims-Go that will be haunted, it must be this section. Here Herman uses the light on his smartphone again, and it's almost at the exact same moment you see something flying by. Herman turned the light off his phone so that he could now take some photos with flash to see if he could spot any orbs on the pictures. Well, they didn't appear, but something else strange happened. The next day, when Herman went to take pictures of the buildings around this area, they all seemed to be shrouded in fog. Everywhere else in the vicinity was enjoying a beautiful summer's day. Was there a ghost in Herman's smartphone? A ghost in the shell, perhaps? Case. In any case, the ghost did not want to leave the Riemsco circuit because as soon as Herman was in Nivelles that evening, he could take clear pictures again without having changed any settings on his smartphone or giving it a clean. Here's another shot of the cross. Herman used his haunted smartphone again to light the image. When Herman is close to the memorial, you see a strange black shadow moving quickly across the cross. It's unlikely Herman caused the shadow because he was moving slowly. So let's see this one back, frame by frame. Okay, that's strange. While Herman was out of the car, he left the onboard camera on to continue to film. So let's see if it filmed anything strange and unusual. Now we see the accelerated footage. On the background you can see the lights of the traffic on the highway, but there's actually nothing strange to see. Or it might be just at this moment. Suddenly you see the light change, but this was probably a truck on the intersection. Now you see Herman driving back from the abandoned section. The footage you see is from the night vision cam. Okie dokie, it's time to analyse the strange things that we've been seeing and try to solve the mystery Scooby-Doo style. We begin with the orb photo Herman made in the grandstands of 2005. The scientific explanation for this is that there's flash reflecting off of the dust and moisture particles in the vicinity. However, some people disagree with this theory and claim that orbs are also caused by ghosts. What do you think? Let us know down in the comments below. Then, the strange bright lights on the stands during the 2018 drone flight. If you look at this footage, you'll see that there are holes in the roof of the grandstands, so the bright spots are sun rays coming through these holes. The luminous orb in the pit building was probably a reflection which disrupted the camera for a short time. However, a reflection from what? It could have been from the headlights of a passing car maybe, but there wasn't really anything going past at that time, so it kind of remains a bit of a mystery. The face in the basement? It was probably drawn on the basement wall by someone. Not a portrait, I hope. In the vampire attack near the spooky tunnel? That was probably a night bird or a bat. Near the grandstands we didn't see strange things at all, even if someone did claim that they'd seen ghosts there before. Herman didn't see anything strange. Did you see anything in there in the footage? Again, let us know down in the comments below. And the hand I joked about was just the shadow of Herman's hand. There's a career in shadow puppetry there, mate. Now we go to the abandoned section of the track. When Herman entered, he saw another orb, but again this could have been a reflection from the headlights, probably from his car this time. And when he illuminated the cross, we saw something flying by, but this seems to just be an insect. But the foggy pictures after he took some night photos of the cross, that's actually the biggest mystery of all. We've got no logical explanation for it. Neither have we got anything for the black shadow on the cross. Do you have any explanations? Anyone good at camera wizardry? Let us know down in the comments below this video and let's debunk this mystery. And if you have seen anything else strange in the videos that we've missed, let us know down in the comments. So that was it for Herman's ghost hunt on the haunted racetrack of Riemsgo. No matter whether you believe in ghosts or not, we hope you enjoyed this night exploration. If you want to know about the history of Riemsgo Circuit, please visit the website www.circuitsofthe.past.com. There you can download a free ebook about 7 abandoned racetracks that you can visit legally. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you don't miss the next video from another creepy circuit from the past. Bye bye.